Filipino kids, why are they so special? I admit that sometimes I get a little frustrated with the locals here. Am I always right or reasonable? Of course not. I'm human and I can be judgmental at times, I admit it. However, I have nothing but praise and delight for Filipino kids. Filipino children, a sheer delight. I still remember before my first trip here back in the 1990s, I had that thinking that the Philippines was overrun by unwanted children, an excess of kids that were a general burden on their parents. How wrong I was. I saw plenty of kids, mostly wanted and loved very much. Most Filipino homes had floors covered in children. Is there a floor covering? If so, what colour was it? Who knows? So many kids that you can't see it, and like all Filipinos, the kids smile and laugh over very little. And compared to us who've seen and not heard Aussie kids, they could never imagine themselves as unwanted or unloved. All very aware of their own value, confirmed by every adult that they see, and every other child. Now I had some guests on Sunday, a Welsh chap and his wife and two kids, 10-year-old boy and a 13-year-old girl. They had never met my kids before. However, they were best of friends in about 5 minutes. The boy had a 3-year-old girl making heavy demands on his time and attention, as in, Koya, Koya. It didn't bother him in the slightest. Another time we had, I think maybe 20 kids here on a New Year's Eve. Youngest maybe 3, oldest maybe 19, and everything in between. Girls, boys, all ages, all waiting for the standard Harvie New Year's Eve fireworks, which are pretty good. And whilst waiting, they all played. Now, they played games that I'd never seen before, which is quite normal, regardless of how many years you live here. Kids all know hundreds of them, and they will all join in with enthusiasm. No one's too old or too cool. They will patiently help little kids along, and they'll cop all the nonsense that little kids dish out without complaint. Seriously, wouldn't happen so readily in Australia. Sorry, but it really wouldn't. Even expecting an 18-year-old to be nice to a 13-year-old is a big ask. And it's whatever kid happens to be there too. Doesn't need to be a little brother or a niece. Aunties and koyas are always on duty and will rise to the occasion. Last time my mother visited here, it was Christmas 2015, she told me how impressed she was with 2 of our girls, 11 and 12 at the time. 2-year-old Maggie had vomited all over herself, as 2-year-olds tend to do. The older 2, well, they just scooped her up, cleaned her up, changed her without a word. Now my mum was truly amazed, but that's just normal here. Ask any kid to take care of another kid and they just do. They're all used to it. They have no problem doing it. Now I don't know what or why. I suppose it has to do with the lack of extended families and the reduced number of kids in Australia. I don't remember ever having anything to do with a baby when I was a kid. The occasional visitor had one, but you tend to keep your distance from this strange creature. Most of us had our first introduction to babies when we actually had our own kids, and suddenly they would thrust this wrapped up baby into your arms and you were expected to take over. I do like the way things are. It just seems somewhat more balanced. Now, no Jeff Harvie article about kids would be complete without a plug for you to consider what a wonderful addition to your life is a Filipino child, or several Filipino children. If you meet a single mother, unless she has a legal restriction preventing her kids from going to Australia, you should include them in a partner visa application. What possible loss could it be to have beautiful smiling faces and pure hearts full of love? There's love for their mum, your wife or future wife, and love for the new dad who accepted them. Nothing but a win-win. Thank you. This video was brought to you by Down Under Visa, who specialise in visas for Australian Filipina couples. Please visit our website and complete a free visa assessment form. And please watch some of our other videos. Thank you.